Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Jess Larkin, and I'm the Marketing Communications Specialist at Cornerstone. I'm your host for the Build Your Brand series and your go-to gal for all of your marketing questions. I want to help you build a brand that is focused on growth. Today, we are joined by Steve Kapuscinski.
Yes.
Every year I have to ask, I always forget, from Allegra to talk about print advertising and the important role that it plays in the digital world. But before we get into that, we'll start with a little bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions, you can type them in the chat box to your right into the GoToWebinar dashboard, and we will answer those questions at the end of the webinar. My contact information is right here if you'd like to get in contact with me. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And we post industry and Cornerstone updates and information. So go to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube to give us a follow. If you haven't already heard, Cornerstone has recently partnered with EB3, which is an online benefit booklet builder that is fully customizable and specifically designed with employee benefits brokers in mind. As a Cornerstone broker, you have exclusive access to this product, so contact your Cornerstone representative for details. And lastly, I have some good news. I'm offering a full service marketing consultation program where I help you optimize your brand and take it to the next level. Some of the services I offer are brand audits, social media management, print marketing, email marketing, onboarding kits, and more. Also, all brokers participating in this program will receive a free brand evaluation workbook, so you can contact me today for prices and for more information. And just so you know, Allegra also offers graphic design services, so I will let Steve speak to that in a little bit. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to him. Give me 1 second. All right, take it away, Steve.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Good morning, everybody. As Jessica said, I'm Steve Kapuscinski. Company is Allegra Marketing, Print, Mail, and Image 360. We are a full-service marketing, graphic design, print, mail, visual graphics, which would include vehicle graphics, signage, promotional products, and apparel, those types of things. Okay, who we are. Like I said, local single source for print, marketing, and signage services. I've owned this for 16 years. Our team is me, the president, Aaron Weglarski is our production manager, Kate Andrew, account manager, and also our graphic designers and production staff also. So that's us. Okay, we're going to talk today about the power of print communications, multi-channel communications. We'll start with the power of print. So, the customer journey. Well, before we do that, I just want to get a show of hands. How many people got their COVID shot?
Oh.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Great. Glad to hear it. Okay, so moving on to the customer journey. If you've been to my webinars before, you will have seen this. We'll always come back to this. It takes about 7 to 13 touch points to generate a lead or a client. The middle section here, the straight line, is about building awareness. That's the marketing and the prospecting. Consideration. They know who you are, why they're thinking about why should I buy. At some point they've decided they can buy from you and they become clients. Then you're going to work on retention of that client. And then finally you'd love them to become advocates for you and send you referrals. So that's the straight line. The sine wave here are all the elements along that path to get to where you've got a solid client that's sending you referrals and giving you business. Consumers need information. They conduct more independent research before and take more convincing before they buy. 60 to 80% of the buying process takes place before a consumer makes contact with a brand. We all know, I mean, I'm the same as everybody. The first thing I'm doing is I'm Googling and finding some information as much as I can before I even start talking to someone generally. So a lot of that takes place beforehand. Consumers are gathering information. Yes, we are. And we're evaluating our options. We're looking at different companies, drawing conclusions based on the information they have. So, again, print plays an important role in that. You can have, as we see here, let me go to the next slide here. There we go. So, the red circles indicate the print elements of this path, 50%. So you've got every door direct mail. We have a website before reading direct mail. We have, we talked about researching before they buy. You have targeted direct mail, brochures, collateral, brand presentation materials, broad Excel sheets, promotional flyers, thank you cards once you have an order or a client, more direct mail, newsletters, rewards, and loyalty programs. So all of those things are print related and are used to gain and retain clients. The many uses of print in customer communications. We show here how the multi-channel customers communications, including print, ongoing communications with existing clients, for instance, welcome kits, which could be a combination of a folder, pocket folder with informational inserts, could be a branded or personalized notepad, could be other promotional products, branded promotional products, customer loyalty programs, and of course, new customer acquisition and enrollment programs. They're more likely to use print and multi-channel communications than those with less experience. But those with greater experience will be more likely to use print and multi-channel communications. And this slide says buyers expect their use of print and multi-channel campaigns to increase or hold steady, with only a few expecting decreases. So again, the main point of this is that print is a solid and stable piece of your marketing campaign or your marketing initiative, basically, ongoing. Print is powerful. Can you believe this? We receive an average of 567 promotional emails weekly, compared with 12 pieces of direct mail. Brand recall is 70% higher for print than digital. Print is trustworthy. 55% prefer paper documents because they believe they are more secure. And of course, actionable. Those who've received printed mail made a purchase, a lot of them, 65%, made a purchase or responded to that inquiry or that marketing piece. It's engaging. Touching, feeling, looking at it. Yes, you can look at an email on your screen, but again, you've got great copy you can have, textures, like I said, shapes, sizes, and of course there are links to digital, because we're going to be talking about and continuing to reinforce multi-channel in marketing, which will be print, mail, and digital. Dimensional mail averages a 33% lift. It is expensive to do, but it does give you a 33% lift in response rates. Okay, moving from the direct or the print piece to direct mail. Now we have, it's tied with social media as the second most used medium. It does, though, produce the best response rate of any medium. Response rates for both house lists and prospect lists nearly doubled in 2018. When I started doing this many years ago, our rule of thumb for a good response rate on a targeted direct mail campaign was 1.5% to 2%. So me seeing 9% and 4.9%, that's fantastic news for direct mail. That's a huge increase. Is what our rule of thumb was years ago. So
do you happen to know what the industry standard is for health insurance?
I do not know for health insurance. It's a good question, though. Between your marketing and my marketing and our research, we'll have to get that. So I can see what I can find for that.
Okay.
But anyway, the main point is, again, is I'm going to continue to say that targeted direct mail should be part of your marketing portfolio. Return on investment of direct mail increased by 12 percentage points and exceeds that of online display. And this channel sees its greatest use in business to consumer campaigns. I don't know how many of you are in business to business, or if you have to split your business between business to business and business to consumer, but in both cases, direct mail is good.
We would have a little bit of both audience.
Okay. For direct mail myths, direct mail is dead. It's not. Direct mail is too expensive. It's not. Online is the only place to do digital marketing. It's not. Direct mail is too hard. It's not. You can always email me or call me or call or email Jessica. We can walk you through the whole direct mail process and costs, and you can see that it can be very cost effective, primarily because you can target so specifically, and then you can keep your campaign costs in check. Direct mail, like I said, is not dead. 66% of direct mail is open. 82% of direct mail is read for a minute or more. Jump down, 62% of consumers who responded to direct mail made a purchase. And then there's the personalization piece that made them more likely to buy or to open a direct mail piece. Millennials and direct mail. I am not a millennial. One time I might have thought I was, but I'm not anymore. They spend most of their time engaged online. However, direct mail converts better. Let me say that again. Direct mail converts better. I think, and we'll talk about this a little bit later in terms of email campaigns and the quantity of email you have to have and the response rates from that. But interesting here, 65% feel they spend too much time online. 65% pay attention to direct mail. 90% think direct mail advertising is reliable and trustworthy. And 63% of those who responded to a direct mail piece within the past 3 months made a purchase. So again, it's all part of your multi-channel approach, but direct mail should be part of that. Attitudes on direct mail and email. 73% get a lot more emails that they do not open. 59% enjoy getting postal mail about new product versus only 39% by email. I think with people being home last year during the COVID, I think getting mail was a nice treat because you're home all the time and now you have something else to get up and reason to do and look at something different. So I'm thinking some of that is the reason. 62 enjoy checking the postal mailbox. That's interesting. I go to the mail. I never really thought about it, but yes, you enjoy checking the postal mailbox. 87% of consumers consider direct mail to be believable, while only 48% feel the same way about email. Online plus, I didn't change that. Offline plus online equal improved performance. Thought I changed that. Should have been as the image shows below. You have online marketing and offline marketing. 56% who responded visited the company's website. Consumers show deeper website engagement when receiving mail first. They record 16% more site visits, 22% more page views, and 15% more time online. So I tell some of my clients that you can use social media to get, and then you get organic growth from that. But if they don't really know how to get to you, direct mail to them is a great initial engagement with them. And then from there, they can use the social media and the digital channels to learn a little bit more. So that is a great way to first get people aware of who you are. Direct mail plus digital, a perfect marriage. Direct mail lifts the response rate of other channels by 450%, 28% higher conversion rates, and higher response rates with digital, direct mail plus digital, higher response rates than direct mail alone. So again, we're talking about a multi-channel approach here always. Here's that slide again. Digital and print work together. Excuse me, did I tell you that it takes about 7 to 13 touch points to generate a lead? Yes, it's true. Okay, we had the red circled, which were primarily print and mail marketing, and the blue circles now click in with online search engine optimization, responsive websites, online reviews, email, meaning constant contact, SurveyMonkey, those types of things, content sharing, customer surveys. I use a customer survey. At the end of every month, I send out to this survey provider for me the list of everybody who had purchased that month. And from the emails, they get a quick 4-question survey, but in that survey, I also have questions built in for educating them. So the question would be, yes, to the print customers, do you have a need for signs or other types of vehicle graphics, et cetera, et cetera. So I add in not just a little couple of questions for the survey, but I give them a chance to be educated on some of the other services that we provide. So that's something that you could consider also in a survey is include educational content for them to look at it. And it takes no more than a couple minutes to do this survey, so it's not really time consuming at all. Let's see, again, the main thing is print and digital work together. That's the main thing I want to say here. Direct mail elements for success. So now we'll get into the kind of the nuts and bolts more of the elements for direct mail pieces. The list. I've said this before and I'll always say this, the list is the most important of the elements and it can account for 50% of the campaign's response rate. For instance, the question would be, who is the target audience? How to get a list. This is something where you need to spend some time, if you haven't done it before, thinking about who you're trying to reach. You can compile the list yourself. It would be a house list. That would be existing clients that you have. You rent a list from another company or organization, buyers, subscribers, members. If you're members of chambers of commerce, you can get membership lists from them. You can go to a list compiler or a broker and rent names. This is where we can help because we can, or another mailing. I mean, love to have you use us, but I just want to say that you can go to mailing organizations, and there really is no cost up front for you to say, well, I want to reach, or after we've talked about this, say, and we say, okay, well, we think you want to reach this demographic, these geographics, and these selections, which I'll talk about a little bit, and I can get the count from that at no cost. So we go through that and send it to the compiler. They send it back, and they said, well, for this particular targeted demographic, it's 1,000 names or it's 500 names, and so then you can purchase that list based on that. You don't have to buy 10,000 names. Here's examples of the selections. We tend to shorten it to selects when we're talking about it, but business selections include, as you can see here, I don't need to read them all, but geography, company size, fax numbers. I guess we still use fax numbers sometimes. Selects, such as square footage, owns versus rents, a lot of different types of information you can on the business selections. Consumer selections, age, exact versus inferred, income, net worth, length of residence, consumer scores, ethnicity, religion. Here's an interesting one, a mail order responder. Somehow the compilers are able to get a sense of whether or not that person responds to direct mail. So that's very interesting select. Be happy to check into how accurate that is if anybody's interested. But that is an interesting select. Yes. The offer. So we talked about the list, which is worth 50% of the response rate. You want to get to the right people. I guess it was the old advertising adage, really. Right people at the right time with the right product. I think there's 4 things. I can never remember what the 4th is. At the right price, I think is what it is. So now that you've got the right list, why should they respond? You want to include a call to action. So you want to have the offer, you want to be able to motivate them. You want them to feel like it has a high perceived value, delivered with a sense of urgency. What that means is you want to put a time constraint on it of some sort so that they know that they have to respond by a certain time, and they won't stick it up on the refrigerator and forget about it or something like that. So you want to have a sense of urgency or a time constraint to that, and you can see some examples down below that, what they say, what they recommend. Okay, let's see. We have discount offers. We've all seen these, but they do work. Payment term offers, same thing. Free trial, bill me later installment, money back guarantee. Promotions, premium on an order, premium on payment. Valuable information, best practices paper, subscription to a newsletter, those sorts of things. Case study, cost calculators, all these, we've seen them. They do work. Anyway, so those are all part of the offer. Interesting thing here, which offer does better, half off or 50% off? Show of hands, who thinks 50% off is better? You're right. 2 for 1, price 2 for 1, or we get 1 free. And it didn't click up on the slide here, but the 50%, let me go back. So 50% offer does better, and that's because it's a bigger number than the half off. So, visually, mentally, it seems like a lot more, even though it's the same thing. So that's why that one performs better. Buy one, get one free. It's a little more intrinsically direct, speaking to you. If buy one, I get one free. 2 for the price of 1. Yeah, okay, it's saying the same thing, but people like free, and so it's interesting to see that that's what people go for. So. And then the third piece of this is the creative. What does the piece look like? Does it appeal to your audience? Does it have the right message? You don't need award-winning creative. That's just expensive. You do need to have it look professional. You do need, like it says on the slide, you do need to appeal to your target audience, and you do need to have the right messaging on it, so that your audience gets to you. Let me go back to that. So when we talk about messaging, I have clients that want to fill it up with all this information, and I would recommend against it. We want to have it clear and concise, some bullet points, some major things. You want to create interest, but you don't want it to be so noisy that they can't wade through it and decide they can't. They just set it aside. You want to generate just enough interest for them to say, I need to know more. So then you want to generate a response. If you give them too much information, they can say, okay, I don't need this, and they don't have to call you, whereas you want them to try to reach back out to you. Examples of mailers, you've got postcards, you've got a letter package here, and then you've got the self-mailer with a business reply mailer as part of that. We did some mailers for an insurance client of ours that was trying to reach upcoming 65-year-olds. So we got lists of people that were turning 65 in 60, 90 days out, we did this 3-piece mailer for them so that people could respond back with this reply card. So that's a very effective way. And it doesn't have to be color. The ones we did were just black and white. However, we'll talk about how to enhance response rate based on design also.
Quick question.
Sure.
If a broker decides that they want to create their own piece using like Canva design or something, do they just leave a little bit of space at the top where the business reply mail thing is, so that you guys add it in for them?
Yes, and again, we can take your the agent's artwork, and we would lay it into probably InDesign once we got it, just to make sure that all the addressing, the address block here has to be in a certain location, and this here, and again, you have to have this empty because these barcodes would be added in. So yes.
So if you decide to go for a self-mailer and you decide to do the creative for yourself, instead of going to Allegra for your graphic designs, just make sure that you leave that space for them to add that stuff in. That's not something that you need to do on your own. Just leave the amount of space that's necessary for them, and they'll be able to tell you how much you should leave as well. Right.
Yeah, because we'll lay it in, and we'll say you need to change this, or we can change it for you. So yes. Okay. Let's see here. Next. Okay, I talked about this a little bit a couple slides ago. Copy trumps art. Again, you want to be able to read what they're saying. Art is good. It's attention getting. You want to use a friendly me to you tone. As I said before, I stress keep it clear and simple, and not fill it up with a lot of information. You want them to be calling you. You don't want them to be able to make a yes or no decision just on the card themselves. Be credible, and stress the benefits versus the features. Speaking of benefits and features, a feature is a characteristic, a benefit is an advantage. And here are some examples below of features and benefits. Feature is they have rubber outsole with traction ribbing. Well, what's the benefit? They keep your feet warm and dry. Accounting software is an online reporting feature. Well, the benefit is you have 24/7 access to data so you can increase efficiencies. I continue to be amazed by emails and communications and inquiries. I get inquiries for people that are coming in at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night or 5 a.m. on a Sunday morning or something. People are working all hours of the day and week. So I don't want to downplay the importance of online, online presence for sure. Personalization increases response. Again, I'm always taken by the huge amount of increase of response rate that personalization can provide. And it can be as simple as, let me see if the next slide shows it. They kind of show it here. Personally, it could be as simple as, Klein family happily resides here, or something as interesting as Richard. Congratulations, Jane, et cetera, et cetera. It could be as simple as that. And it can be, you'll see this, colleges do this a lot. They'll send postcards out with a personal URL where with your name in it, and it's links. You click on that, and it links right to your own landing page for learning more about that particular school. Colleges are always doing this sort of thing. It does add cost, but again, you can see what that does for the response rate. It really improves the response rate quite a bit. Like I said, education uses it a lot. Frequency. One and done does not work. Again, we're talking a lot of touch points to generate, I would say, a client versus a lead. I'd say 7 to 13 touch points to generate a client. Multiple mail drops to the same audience, plus other marketing channels. Again, we're talking about multi-channel approach. I know it sounds self-serving to mail more than once because I do mailing services, but again, it's part of marketing, and I do it myself. So anyway, so again, frequency, it's all about touch points.
Cornerstone has absolutely seen that as something that we have to do as well. If we send out something only once, especially in the health insurance industry where the biggest thing is brand awareness, people might not necessarily respond to your first postcard simply because they're not ready to buy insurance. But your whole goal in that situation is to increase brand awareness, and then you continue hitting them with digital ads. You continue hitting them with more postcards, and they start to remember who you are. And when they do need insurance, or when they are ready to make a plan change, then they think, oh, Murphy Insurance Agency. I've heard of them before. Let me give them a call.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it as well.
Exactly. Oh, here we are again, the customer journey. But it's great. I mean, it gives you a real sense of all the elements that it takes to, like I said, just to reiterate, to find and retain, find a lead, get a new client, and retain them, and then get them to help advocate for you. Improve response rates. Again, this points to the multi-channel approach. Print only, 6% response rate. Conversion rate is 16.2, which is not a bad conversion rate. Print and email bumps it up a little bit more. URL landing pages, you get a higher response rate, slightly lower conversion rate, but a higher response rate. Print, email, web landing pages, again, 16%. Mobile marketing, you add mobile marketing to that, and you get 19% higher response rate and higher conversion rates. So, again, multi-channel marketing. In summary, print is powerful, engaging, and deemed valuable and trustworthy by recipients. Direct mail is not dead and produces the best response rate of any medium. Mailing campaigns have 4 main success components: list, offer, creative, and frequency. And integration between print and digital is key for an effective campaign. So, again, multi-channel approach. Direct mail, print and direct mail should be part of that. Now we have, well, before I go to questions, I just want to say print and mail should be part of that. We'd be happy to speak to you at no obligation for any questions you have concerning maybe list generation. How do you get a list? I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but if you have a client list that you already have, say it's, 100 names or 100 clients, and maybe it's more, we can take that client list you have, and we have algorithms that can then return back to you a list of prospects that fit that same exact demographic that your client base is. So it's a way for you to, if this is a good client demographic, how do we find more like them? We can help you do that. So that's a way to find, like I said, you can find prospects that are just like the clients you have. Okay, that was short and sweet, I think. 30 minutes. Yep.
Perfect. Can you go ahead and hand me that?
Yep.
All right, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them into the question box, and we will address those now. So it looks like we have one so far. What is the cost of acquisition to generate a lead?
How do I answer that? Cost of acquisition to generate a lead. Well, I think that would be, so you're talking about a direct mail campaign and maybe a website. Well, you have a website already, but maybe a digital campaign that might be a constant contact. If you're trying, well, no, constant contact is an opt-in list, so you wouldn't use that to generate a new lead. So let's just talk about a direct mail piece for instance. So I would say that if you're going to do a direct mail campaign of 3 touches, you're going to spend probably with creative and then the postage, you'll probably spend for 3 mailings, probably somewhere between $1 and $1.50 for a postcard. Postcard per postcard, if it's a postcard lead, $1.50, $1 to $2 to generate a lead. Now again, that's really off the cuff because everyone is different, but just to give you a sense of that. And I know that seems like possibly a lot of money for 1 postcard for 3 times. But again, you're talking about a high response rate and it's highly targeted, so you're not going to be sending out tens of thousands of emails. Like for an email campaign, you have to buy tens of thousands of names. And so your cost per name may be not very high, but depending on who you are trying to reach, tens of thousands may not be anywhere near what you're trying to accomplish. So you're really trying to, accomplish a much smaller number. So yes, your cost of lead is higher, but your cost of campaign can be way lower.
Okay. So you touched on this a little bit, but the role of actually having a website when you're doing print marketing, this whole presentation is about, you need both in order to create a successful marketing campaign. If somebody doesn't already have a website, how important is it for them to get started with print advertising to already have that in place?
Let me ask that question again. How important is it to have?
How important is it to have a website in order to have a successful print campaign?
Well, anymore, if you don't have a website, no one believes that you're a real company. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing. So you need some sort of a website. It can be very simple. It doesn't have to be a very expensive website, but it has to be something that looks like, it has to be a website, because on any mail campaign, pretty much going to tell you to visit the website anyway, because that's going to be the next step. Go to the website to learn more about us. Mm-hmm. But again, they're going to be looking for a website to see if you're a real person or not, real company. So yes, very important.
And that's one of those things too. Whenever somebody asks me if they should do emails to purchase lists, which you're not really supposed to do anyway, I always say, no, do something with direct mail instead. Because, as you were talking about with millennials before, people are pretty suspicious these days, and especially if they receive a random email from a random company that they don't know anything about, they're going to think it's spam, and their inbox is probably going to think it's spam. If they receive a direct mail piece with a website on it, I feel like that's a lot more, they're a lot more willing to trust that brand than if they start receiving bulks of emails in their inbox. So I would definitely recommend, if you're looking to do anything with a purchase list, go the direct mail route rather than sending to any kind of purchase list, because that's also bad for your domain too. If you have a website, you can get in some real trouble with that as well. So you talked a little bit about how to improving the response rate for the actual design of your pieces by personalizing it. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that you would recommend somebody do with the design so that somebody actually picks it up and reads it? Like, is there anything with like fonts or colors or the imagery that you use to improve your chances of a good response?
Well, I like to recommend a large postcard or something that's off size from a lot of the other mail that you're getting in the mail, because it's going to just automatically stand out. So even if you're thinking you're going through and you're maybe throwing stuff out, you're going to grab this large postcard, color for sure. They're going to look at it before they throw it out. So you want to have something on there, an offer that stands out, some kind of a messaging that stands out right away, so that as they're flipping through and throwing stuff out, they can't help but read that. Mm-hmm. So.
And also, we've talked a lot about branding in a lot of my other webinars. If you already have a brand in place, make sure that your colors and your fonts and everything match up to that brand as well. Because like I said, with health insurance, there's a lot of brand awareness for these campaigns. If you're not sending them during OEP or around OEP and you're just trying to gather some customers throughout the year, a lot of it is about brand awareness. So make sure that you're staying consistent because consumers like consistency with their brands. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. If you do have any questions that you didn't think of now but you'd like to have them answered, please feel free to email me at any time or email Steve. Steve, what's your email address?
Let's see, got this here. It's not advancing. There we are. Okay. Thank you all for, first, thank you for joining us. Appreciate the opportunity to educate you on print and direct mail and how that can be part of a strong multi-channel marketing campaign. That's me. Steve at allegracincy.com is my email address. Of course, you can always reach out to Jessica. And I think that is it for me. Why is it doing that? There we are. That's just the final slide.
Awesome. All right. Go ahead and look out for any other upcoming webinars in this series and in others. Tomorrow we have an individual corner webinar with Dental Care Plus. And next Tuesday we have a Tech Tuesday, which is the last Tech Tuesday of 2021. And that's going to be all about VPNs, which you might have heard floating around the internet. So if you'd like to learn more about VPNs and why you need one, go ahead and join Tom Levine on his last webinar. You can register for all of those on the Cornerstone website at crnstone.com. And if you have a few minutes after the webinar, please take some time to fill out the survey so we can learn what kind of content you're most interested in. We're able to have Steve back every year because we get such good feedback from you guys on this. So please let us know. Or you can send me an email at jlarkin@crnstone.com to let me know. And I'd like to thank Steve for joining us today and for offering his expertise as per usual.
I'm always happy to be here, Jesse. Thank you so much.
And
I'm happy to do it again.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.